What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive right into our first news. Arman continues to trash the idea of Ilya versus Paddy Pimblett, and he hasn't slowed down since his big win in Qatar. Over the last few days, Arman has been all over social media, relentlessly dismissing the possibility of Ilya fighting Paddy. Yesterday, we talked about how Arman went off during his interview with Ariel Helwani, calling the matchup pointless and saying it makes zero sense for the division. Now, he's doubled down once again, this time during a new interview with Daniel Cormier. In his conversation with DC, Arman made it clear that the MMA community would laugh if the UFC booked Paddy versus Ilya. He said it would be an easy fight for Ilya, and then he fired a playful jab at Michael Chandler while explaining his point. Arman couldn't believe people were even discussing that matchup. When DC asked him whether Paddy brings anything to the table against Ilya, Arman didn't hesitate for a second. "No way," he replied, adding that Ilya absolutely destroyed Chandler. When DC tried to push back by reminding him how many fighters have beaten Chandler, Arman stayed firm, insisting Ilya is simply on another level. Later that night, Arman jumped on X and took another shot at Ilya. This time, he mocked Ilya's recent career trajectory, writing, "Ilya's fall-off is wild, from El Matador to El Pato, and now all the way to El Patetico and El Panocha." It was classic Arman, sharp, sarcastic, and guaranteed to stir the pot. He then turned the question to fans, asking who they'd rather see Ilya fight next, Paddy Pimblett, Arman himself, or the man everyone seems to forget about lately, Justin Gaethje. With Gaethje openly warning the UFC that he might retire if he doesn't get a title shot soon, the lightweight division is gearing up for a chaotic stretch. Between Ilya's options, Arman's surging momentum, and Gaethje's ultimatum, the UFC matchmaking board is more unpredictable than ever. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to support the channel. Moving on to another news. Things took an interesting turn following Islam's decision win over JDM at UFC 322. Right after the fight, Carlos Prates approached Dana and asked if he could step into the cage to face off with Islam, hoping to build some early hype for a potential future title bout. Prates wanted that moment, the kind of face-to-face the UFC has allowed many times in the past to stir excitement and set the stage for what could come next. But this time, Dana declined the offer. According to Prates, Dana told him that it was the champion's moment, and he didn't want to interrupt or disturb Islam while he was celebrating his win. Dana explained that he wanted to give Islam his space and didn't feel it was the right time to bring someone else into the spotlight. Prates, however, hinted that he felt there was more to it. He said Dana's reaction probably had less to do with protecting the champion's moment and more to do with uncertainty about who would be next in line for the title. Prates explained that Dana told him, "Let's see," and implied that the situation was still unclear, as the UFC hadn't yet decided who Islam's next challenger would be. Prates believes that's the real reason the face-off was rejected. He added that while Dana framed it as respect for the champion, it likely had more to do with the matchmaking picture still being wide open. Even so, Prates remained respectful, acknowledging Dana's reasoning, while subtly pointing out the inconsistency, since the UFC has staged similar moments many times before. For now, the lightweight title landscape remains uncertain, and Prates continues pushing for his shot, even if this particular moment didn't go his way. Moving on to another news. MMA Fighting's Guilherme Cruz and Mike Heck revealed a huge matchup for UFC 324. According to their sources, Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva is being targeted for the event, and the fight is expected to take place at 145 pounds. This news comes after there was speculation about Arnold Allen potentially moving up a weight class, making this announcement even more interesting for fans. The featherweight clash promises to bring excitement, as both fighters have been impressive in their recent outings. Shortly after the news broke, Arnold Allen took to X and tweeted, "Nope," leaving fans curious about whether he was referring to the fight announcement or something else entirely. Regardless, UFC 324 is shaping up to be an action-packed card, and the addition of Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva at featherweight adds another intriguing layer to the lineup. Fans will be keeping a close eye on this matchup as Fight Week approaches. Moving on to another news. Michael Bisping is reportedly in the process of resigning a huge multi-year deal with the UFC to continue his role on the broadcast team. After transitioning from being a competitor inside the octagon to a prominent voice in the commentary booth, Bisping has become one of the most recognizable figures in MMA broadcasting. In a recent interview with MMA Junkie, he confirmed that he is finalizing a new 4-year extension, keeping him with the UFC for the foreseeable future. Bisping expressed immense gratitude toward the UFC staff, Dana, and everyone involved for extending the deal, emphasizing how lucky he feels to remain part of the sport that has given him so much. He described the agreement as not yet signed and sealed, but very close to completion. Bisping highlighted how being part of the UFC in both capacities, fighter and broadcaster, has been a personal honor, and he is excited about continuing into this new era alongside Paramount TV. He reflected on his journey with the promotion, acknowledging that while some may see him as a company man, he views it differently, calling the UFC the finest MMA promotion on the planet. Bisping also hinted at the evolving nature of the broadcast team and how the upcoming Paramount deal could bring significant changes to how UFC events are presented to fans. His extension ensures continuity and expertise in the commentary booth, which has been praised for its insight, energy, and unique perspective on fights. As one of the sport's most knowledgeable voices, Michael Bisping's presence continues to be a major asset for UFC broadcasts, providing analysis, behind-the-scenes context, and first-hand experience from his own fighting career. The finalized deal is expected soon, and it guarantees that fans will continue to see Bisping guiding viewers through some of the most exciting and high-profile fights in MMA. Moving on to another news, Sean Brady is reportedly considering moving down to the lightweight division after his recent setback in the welterweight ranks. At UFC 322, Brady suffered a first-round TKO loss to Michael Morales, and while the defeat was tough, he quickly reassured fans on Instagram that he was healthy and doing fine. In the weeks following the fight, Brady reflected on the loss during an episode of the Brady Bag Show on YouTube, giving an honest and thoughtful breakdown of what happened. Brady admitted that he simply got caught with a punch, something that can happen in any fight. He emphasized that losses are part of the sport and that he has far more wins than defeats in his career. The part that bothered him most was not being able to showcase all the work he put in during camp. Despite the loss, he expressed excitement about being healthy, already back in training, and aiming to return to action early next year to show the full extent of his skills. During the show, Brady also mentioned that a lot of things happened during fight week that could have led him to pull out, but as a fighter, he chose to go forward regardless. He made it clear that he wasn't making excuses, but wanted to acknowledge the challenges he faced that week. As for his next bout, Brady showed interest in a matchup with Belal Muhammad, noting that both fighters are coming off losses and have fought before, which could make for an intriguing clash. Interestingly, Brady also discussed the idea of moving down to lightweight. He explained that while he is at the upper limit for muscle mass at 170 pounds, his overall dimensions put him on the smaller side compared to the top welterweights, most of whom are over 6 feet tall. He feels that dropping to 155 pounds could allow him to compete against fighters closer to his size, which might be more favorable in terms of matchups. Brady admitted that it would be a very difficult transition, emphasizing that it's not about skill, but about physical dimensions. He believes that his frame would stack up better against opponents in the lighter division. The news of Brady considering a move to lightweight has sparked conversation in the MMA community. Former UFC fighter Zach Pauga reacted on X, arguing that dropping a weight class is not always the solution. Fans are now left speculating on whether Brady will try to reinvent himself at 155 or continue to challenge the welterweight elite. Regardless, Sean Brady remains determined, focused on returning stronger, and prepared to showcase his full potential in the octagon once again. Moving on to another news, Carlos Prates recently revealed that he nearly took part in a high-profile grappling match against one of the top lightweight contenders. Speaking to Ariel Helwani, Prates explained that he had accepted a grappling bout with Arman, but the UFC stepped in and shut the matchup down. He admitted that he was approached for a grappling event on December 30th and was asked to face Arman in a special grappling show. Excited by the opportunity, Prates immediately said yes, ready to test himself against one of the division's elite talents. However, despite his agreement, the UFC refused to allow the fight to happen. Prates explained the situation clearly, saying that he wanted to compete, but the organization had other plans and didn't give approval. He mentioned that he also planned to avoid fighting in January, so he could enjoy his New Year celebrations and take some personal time. With that in mind, he suggested that a grappling match with Arman could have been fun after February, but unfortunately, the UFC still said no. Prates reflected on how cool it would have been to square off against Arman in a grappling format, emphasizing that he was genuinely looking forward to the challenge. Despite the UFC blocking the bout, he remained upbeat about the idea and expressed interest in possibly revisiting the matchup in the future. This revelation adds another layer to the ongoing discussions about fighter flexibility and UFC control over matchups outside the cage. While fans were excited by the potential grappling showdown, the organization's decision underscores the strict oversight they maintain over fighters' competitive opportunities. For now, the prospect of Prates facing Arman in a grappling contest remains on hold, leaving fans to imagine how such a matchup could have played out. Moving on to another news, Carlos Prates opened up about what he wants next in the UFC. He said he's ready to fight anyone the promotion puts in front of him, whether it's Michael Morales, JDM, or even a direct shot at the title. Prates explained that he feels prepared for all challenges and isn't looking to slow down. He mentioned that aiming for Morales or JDM makes sense, but he'll take whoever the UFC offers without hesitation. According to him, the goal is always the belt, yet if he needs one more fight to earn that opportunity, he's willing to step right back in. Prates emphasized that he's confident, motivated, and ready to stay active, making it clear that he wants to keep climbing the division until he reaches championship gold. Moving on to another news, Renato Moicano has officially responded to Dan Hooker after Hooker called him out during an interview with the Mac Life. Hooker claimed that they should fight because they both suck, a comment that quickly caught attention across the MMA community. Moicano didn't shy away from the jab. Instead, he leaned right into it, agreeing that they both suck and that they're both getting old. But he made it very clear that, in his opinion, Hooker sucks even more. Moicano went on to say that Hooker has no real power, no ground game, and no grappling skills to threaten anyone at the top level. He explained that, when comparing the two skill sets, he believes he's simply better everywhere. He added that Hooker doesn't deserve to be in the top 5, or even the top 6 of the division. And although Moicano admitted that he's not perfect either, he emphasized that Hooker falls short in every major category. According to him, Hooker has no knockout power, no wrestling, and no real ability to compete at a high level on the ground. Moicano said he would love the fight, and he thinks the fans would enjoy it as well. But he doesn't believe the UFC is going to make that matchup happen anytime soon. After addressing the back and forth with Hooker, Moicano shifted his focus to the lightweight title picture. He made it clear that even though he doesn't like Arman personally, he believes Arman is the rightful #1 contender at 155 pounds. Moicano explained that Arman has performed at the highest level and deserves the next title shot. He pointed out that Arman's only losses in the UFC were to Matos Gamrot in a very competitive fight and to Islam in his debut on extremely short notice. Considering Arman's record, performances, and momentum, Moicano believes there's no denying that he is the man who should be fighting for the belt next. Moicano also took aim at the current rankings. He said Paddy Pimblett being placed at number 5 makes no sense at all. In his view, Paddy hasn't beaten anyone that would justify a top 5 position. Moicano reminded fans that Paddy's recent wins came against Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler, and Bobby Green, and he argued that those victories don't warrant a title shot or such a high ranking. He also mentioned Justin Gaethje, acknowledging that Gaethje won his most recent fight, but also lost to Max Holloway before that, making the path to a title shot for him less clear. Moicano wrapped up his thoughts by reinforcing that the UFC will eventually have to give Arman the title opportunity because he's earned it through performance, consistency, and strength of schedule. Moving on to another news. Conor and Khabib are once again in a heated back and forth, this time over Khabib's new digital Papakha project. Recently, Khabib launched a collection of 29,000 digital Papakhas, and the entire drop sold out almost instantly. The auction took place on Telegram, where each digital item averaged around $150, bringing the total earnings to a massive $4.35 million. The launch created a lot of buzz, but it also sparked criticism, especially from Conor, who accused Khabib of scamming his fans. Conor reacted strongly to the news, pointing out that Khabib had previously deleted posts about the NFTs before re-uploading them. Conor wrote that he couldn't believe Khabib would use his late father's name and the culture of Dagestan to sell digital items, only to remove all the related content afterward, leaving fans feeling misled. He went on to say that it was shameful and disrespectful, calling it a stain on Khabib's father's legacy. Conor insisted that using culture and family heritage to market NFTs and then deleting the posts was low, saying, "Father's plan has now become father's scam. Very sad." While criticizing Khabib, Conor also took a moment to praise Islam for honoring his own father after becoming a double world champion. Islam placed both belts on his father's shoulders and said, "There's not many fathers of double world champions." Truth. Conor used this moment to highlight what he considered a respectful contrast to Khabib's actions. It didn't take long for Khabib to fire back. He responded directly on Twitter, calling Conor an absolute liar, and saying that Conor has always tried to tarnish his name ever since losing to him. Khabib insisted that creating digital papakhas was simply a way of sharing Dagestani traditions with the world. He said good people create digital gifts with real-time value that can be shared among friends and family, gifts symbolizing culture and heritage. He described the Papakha NFTs as representations of Dagestan's identity, something he believes is steadily spreading worldwide, whether others like it or not. He emphasized that the items are available exclusively on Telegram, which he praised as the greatest messaging platform in the world. To reinforce his stance, Khabib reposted his announcement about the sold-out auction, thanking everyone who participated and became holders of these digital gifts. He wrote that the papakhas carry value and meaning, something people can share with their loved ones. He closed by thanking fans for their trust and support, urging them to stay connected exclusively through Telegram. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for your daily dose of MMA news.